Okay, hello, Professor Tara. Hello, class. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I'm going to try again. Here we go. I'll share my screen. And I'm sharing the screen. I'm recording. It says I'm recording. Yeah. Wow. I like how there's so much green, but you can see like different shades of green. So it pops. Yeah. The hair looks great. It's a little squiggly in it. This loves the hair. Mm-hmm. Good job. Hey, says I'm presenting. Can you see the screen? The screen sharing. And it looks like you can see my screen. Hello, Spartan Culture, presented by Lukey Chandler. Come check out what I learned about Spartan culture. How crazy it was compared to
You have two times.
living as
A
a
45-minute timer.
American
You can have
child in
less
modern
than 10
times.
seconds left. 36-minute timer.
And
Oh,
Spartan
you have
culture,
17 minutes left.
it was crazy, man. It was just yeah,
Six
you were
minute timer
trained to be a
canceled.
killer. You were trained as a child to learn how to kill, how to steal, how to defend your city state. It was normal that back then. And who am I to be ethnocentric? They had their ways. It worked for them. They were able to fight off the Persian army with their battle tactics. The Spartans, they were killer, man. They were an ancient Greek warrior society known for their military discipline, their strength, and their strict social structure. Very strict. I couldn't think what their mom must have been like. You did not ever back talk mom or probably lose your life. They lived in Sparta, also called Lacedaemon, which was located in the Peloponnese region of Greece. And back then, it was one of the most powerful city states in Greek history. Why was their military strength and discipline central to their society? Well, they couldn't live without it. They needed their army. It was essential to their defense and survival. They relied on their military strength to maintain their power, and that power they lorded over. They used over their slave system, the Helot system, um, which they in turn also depend on. The Helots they used to be their farmers, to work the land. But they were slaves, and the Spartans were used to keep them suppressed. Didn't want any slave uprisings. The big thing for kids living in was the agoge system. The agoge was like their school. It was where the boy would go to be trained in survival, trained how to fight, endurance challenges, and every male citizen became a disciplined warrior through that system, ready to serve the state. Some symbols that we saw in Spartan culture was that big golden shield, that big round shield called the Lambda shield. That was a symbol of strength and unity. Uh, if you've ever seen that movie 300 or anywhere in popular culture, if you see a Spartan, you see that big red cloak that they wear. That was that those crimson robes the warriors would wear, and they'd intimidate their enemies all wearing those cloaks. And they could also use those cloaks to hide their wounds. If a Spartan was bleeding, the enemy's not going to be able to tell all that under all that big red cloak. And for the victor, another symbol was the olive wreath. They would wear that around their head for their victory celebrations. And what about the language? And Sparta, the dominant language was Laconic. And that was just strict, short, blunt statements. They didn't do elaborate discussions. And that shaped their communication by just encouraging quick thinking. They're forced to analyze the situations even before speaking. Their communication style was just direct, it was authoritarian. They just strategic messages. There's just no sugarcoating, no elaborate speaking. It just said what they had to say. And a quote that really, I think, encapsulates what their language was from King Leonidas, who, when the Persian army was knocking at their door, calling for their surrender, Leonidas just said simply, "Molan labe," or "come and take them." Very to the point of the spear, really. What else? So some of the norms in Sparta and some of the parenting styles there was the agoge system. That was the normal. Every boy was enrolled at the agoge, and their parents, they were just focused on being tough. Mama had to send that boy out, and you're part of the state now. You go to that school, and you're going to learn how to be a killer. And that was their ritual. That was their tradition. The boy would go through painful endurance tests. They were sent to this school, and they would be taught things like how to steal food without getting caught. Just crazy survival. Just warrior skills. So some of the changing beliefs there, the Spartans viewed intelligence meant to think tactically. Their intelligence was linked to resilience, obedience rather than just being efficient, just doing everything real clear rather than having open discussions. The Athenians, they were more philosophical. They wanted to be eloquent with their words. They believed in the arts. They wanted intellectual debate over in Athens, but Sparta was no. You're meant to think like a warrior, think efficiently, and find resilience. Some of their values and their moral development. Um, they believed in honor and sacrifice, discipline. Those are the core values. They had limited parental affection. They weren't there to yeah, they were not trauma informed. They were they were pushing their kids into the trauma, and and that was the norm, and it worked for them to a point. They had very strict roles, strict gender roles. Boys were sent to the go-gay, and if you had a girl, you were keeping her at home. You're going to teach her how to keep the family system running, keep the home fires burning, and women will be trained for motherhood. about work ethic and success? Well, their strength and combat skills determined their status. If you were a killing machine, then you were a celebrity, and the state looked at you favorably. Failure was unacceptable. The boys who couldn't keep up were punished or excluded. You had to go to a Goge. There was no other path for you. If you didn't become a warrior, then you were ostracized. Some of the artifacts we've found from old Spartan culture, we've found their weapons, their armor. We found those big spears they used to use. We found the big lambda shields, those golden shields. We found their helmets. And we've also seen remains of ancient training grounds that's been excavated. Excuse me. So let's compare some childhood experiences. For a Spartan, your childhood was going to a Goge. Military training started when they were 7 years old. Mama would kick you out,
Your 45
going to the
minute
state.
is ringing, and there are no other
That's
timers set.
the child that raised you. You'll have to wait. I'm doing a recording. And we don't do that in modern childhood. We focus on academics and send our kids to school, but they get to come home at the end of the day. No killing necessary. And the parents are the primary caregivers. And we're here to be emotionally supportive and make positive reinforcement for them. Be patient with all their feelings and all their needs. Just a couple more minutes. I have to finish this presentation. Okay, you gotta tell him that. And in Sparta, if they found if a child was born who they felt was weak or infirm, they would abandon it. Um, Only the strong survived with them. Whereas in modern America, we have access to medicine. Get those babies vaccinated. Every child deserves health care and to see a doctor regularly. In Sparta, their focus was on competition and warriors bonding over all the fighting they're doing. Whereas here at home and present, we have friendships based on emotional connection and shared experiences. What else? So some theories that you can see in Spartan culture that kind of stand out. We can see Brofenbrenner's bioecological model that Spartan society shaped children through rigid social structures, and military was more important than personal growth. You're a cog in the machine. You are a warrior, and war is life. Another thing you can see in Spartan culture was Bowlby's attachment theory. We see that Spartan children really had limited parental bonding. And that's going to lead to emotional suppression. You see just watch that Zack Snyder movie, 300, and those men, they will not share any weak emotion. It's all uh, strength and violence. They don't show any sign of weakness. They're more about emotional suppression and resilience rather than nurtured attachment. Mm, yeah, that's what I learned from Spartan culture. These are some places that I looked on the internet about Sparta. Just with the Agoge system from Greek Reporter, Historyplex talked about it, and I found some stuff about it in the World History Encyclopedia. And that was my Module 6 presentation on culture. Thanks for watching. And stop.